So something I wanted to bring up was, I see this line all the time and it really bothers me. It's in gospel songs, people say it, and it's meant to be encouraging, but I really don't like the line. Like, they'll say, I bend but I don't break, or like, I
always land on my feet.
I'm hurt, I'm not broken. I do not like them lines. I don't like the lines that I'm something but I'm not broken, because at some point in life, at multiple points in life, we are all going to be broken. And I think this goes into this whole narrative of this strength mindset. Like, what is wrong with being broken?
Right.
That bothers me. Like, I get the line, but I'm like, okay, you can be broken though. Like, what is so negative because you're broken? Like, I feel like that's a natural part of life, especially if you're experiencing something that's very traumatic.
Yeah.
So to relate that to the question, I feel like we set ourselves up for failure when we have this strength mindset, because we see stuff like, oh, well, I'm just going to get through it. I'm going to get through it. I'm going to get through it. And we do get through it. And then 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20 years later, we've never even fucking processed what even happened. So this whole time we hooping and hollering, we ain't broken. Now 10 years later, we done broke down from some shit that we thought we were over. So I feel like we just really set ourselves up for failure with trying to just stay strong, and hooping and hollering that we're not broken, like we're just going through something. Well, maybe you are broken and that's okay. That's not going to be forever, but you just might be broken in that moment. I really think we have to, like, humanize ourselves, because, like, black women complain about strength being put on them, but we put it on ourselves.
Sure do.
We do not, like, sometimes I don't think we even see ourselves as humans. So I just feel like if you are at that low point, admit you're at that low point. Like, that's okay. You're not going to be there forever, but, like, be honest with yourself about where you are. Like, if you are not in a good place, you just aren't. Like, if you're at wit's end, then you're at wit's end. That is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, you're probably going to get further along if you acknowledge that you are in a really rough spot right now. Like, that is okay.
So, like, y'all favorite word right now is to normalize. So let's normalize from the get-go. You're going to experience being broken during life. I feel like when you know what you know and you just accept that early, when it happens, it's just not nowhere near as tumultuous as it normally is for us, because we strong, so we ain't gonna get affected. No, it's gonna happen eventually, no matter how strong you are, because strength is not, from the definition that Brittany read, we're humans, we're not robots.
Exactly.
We can't uphold that, and then not for no 15, 20 years as we do. We're not built to do that. So that's why people get, like, eternal illnesses once they hit a certain age, because their body has physically taken on all this stuff, and now it's literally breaking down. That those type of things happen, or like she said, some people lose their minds. They dementia, all kind of stuff, y'all. So I went off on a tangent, but when Brittany said that, it sparked something. I started talking about the later breakdown. With the whole strength. Letting yourself know ahead of time you're going to be broken. And how do you know what being whole feels like if you've never been broken? How do you even know? How would you know? So it's all there, like yin and yang. There's good and bad and everything. It's okay to accept all of what you are, the good and the bad, the stuff you don't, the unfavorable and the favorable. And when you accept that's true empowerment. Knowing that there's gonna be days when we feel weak, even though it's not weak to be weak. It's just you're just weak. Like, it's not negative to be weak. Let me say that. You're gonna have days when you feel like, I just can't, and I'm not, and that's okay.
There's strength in saying that. Exactly. Like, to me, I think it's more empowering to say, I am broken right now, but I'm going to be okay, than to say,
oh no, everything's fine.
I'm fine, but I ain't broken. Excuse me, that doesn't even make sense. So, like, I really think being honest with ourselves in that moment is, like, the best thing you can do for yourself. Like, if you are broken, if you are feeling low, then that is how you feel. It's empowering to be in touch with your feelings and your emotions. Just like, okay, don't stay there. Deal with it for a period of time. And then, like Shawana said, how do you really know the feeling of being whole and being empowered if you won't even let yourself, like, just let it sink in? You know what? XYZ has happened. This has happened. I feel really broken inside. If you can't be honest with yourself, who are you going to be honest with?
Not a soul.
Like, it's okay. If somebody is like battling this, I promise you, it is okay to admit you are not okay and you feel broken and you feel low. You feel like it's a rough patch in your life. That's perfectly fine.
Let yourself fall apart.
Literally.
It's okay.
It's perfectly normal.
Because after the fall apart, what else can you do but put yourself back together? And I know Brittany can attest to this. This year and last year would not have felt so good if I have not felt them lows like I did. It just, I don't even know if I would have appreciated I would not have appreciated where I am right now if I had not hit them super, super low points, because I'd have been, on autopilot again, just trying to work towards something because I'm not able to be present and enjoy what's going on. Because the things that make me feel fulfilled now, it'd be stuff you wouldn't even think, the little stuff. It ain't got nothing to do with financially or physically what God has blessed me with. It's that inner stuff that can't nobody take from me.
Exactly.
But I had to follow
agree. I completely agree. I agree.
So to wrap it up, I think our last bullet. Okay, so how can we empower others?
Well, one of the things that I'm going to keep stressing that both of us have said, it starts with making sure we're okay.
Okay, numero uno.
It starts with you and your mental, physical, emotional health. So long as you are fine, you know, that's the first place to start. One thing I will say is you have to know who to go to for what. And I think that it is important to have a friend or, you know, a family member that you can just kind of dissect stuff with and process with. And Shawana is my person for that. Because sometimes I think people fail to realize that it's not necessarily, sorry y'all, life is happening. You hear the
This is crazy.
Girl, like what? Sometimes it's not necessarily about talking about a situation over and over again. I think that if you are doing the work, different things can be brought up about one situation, especially if it was something that was traumatic or it happened at a traumatic time in your life. So I think if you have somebody that can even empower you to not only express yourself, but, you know, to just acknowledge that, hey, remember you were going through XYZ at this time, or hey, remember you made a mistake. That is okay that you made a mistake. So just knowing who you can go to empower you. If you got a friend, you know, you call or say one word, they're gonna pray for you. Like, knowing who your people are and what they can do for you, to me, is very empowering, because I just feel like it's good to not have to explain certain things. Like, if you can just, you know, if I can just go on a rant, or if I can just say one thing and somebody can like pick up for me what I need them to pick up, that is like, that does wonders for me, because it takes a load off of my shoulders, the bigger load that I already have. So just knowing who can do what. One thing Shawana hit on earlier, I think also knowing when to let people handle things on their own. I think, you know, like I said before, our intentions are usually in the right place, to want to help, to want to be there, to want to fix. But there are some things you can't do for other people. They have to figure it out for themselves. They have to make the mistake for themselves. They have to fall for themselves. It's stuff we can't prevent. So I think sometimes empowering coincides with watching people fall, but being there for them once they get back up, or once they feel like, you know what, okay, what I wanted to do or what I tried to do didn't work, and, you know, I need to go another route. So just sometimes it's empowering to sit back because, you know, it's almost more damaging to try to insert yourself than to just let things be. So just kind of knowing your circle, I think knowing your role and knowing yourself would be like the top 3 things I would say when you can really like empower or be empowering to somebody else.
I love that.
Thank you.
Put that in my notes. I really love that. Knowing yourself.
Knowing your role and just knowing your tribe, like knowing your people.
Okay, give me a second, y'all. Knowing yourself. Knowing your role.
Because what I would do for Shawana in a situation, I can't do for like my other friends, or what I would do for my sister-in-law, like, or my husband. Like, I can't do that for every single person, because every single person, like, their personality and even stuff they've been through, they require different things. So you just kind of gotta know people. You gotta know how to deal with people, almost.
I 100% agree. I feel like that's what's helped me really transition from 2020 to now, is knowing, because one of mine was going to be to piggyback off of what Brittany said, is to know when to not overexert yourself. Like, it's
very
that,
true.
I feel like that is a big thing of helping stay in power and empowering others. Like, you got to know when enough is enough. You got to know that whatever spirit or God, you know, who you believe in, put on your heart to say to that person or to your support system at that time, that that's enough, and you don't have to go past the extra mile. Because once you overexert, not only are you hindering the other person, now you're depriving yourself of you know, the empowerment that you had. So knowing when to not do too much, and knowing when to what was the other one I had? Knowing when it's just not your place to even get involved. Because a lot of times we're humans. We get scared, we get impulsive, we reach out, and we look to our support system sometimes to make stuff better, when sometimes the lesson is in just experiencing it. So I feel like that's what Brittany said too, like knowing when you just don't need to step in. Like just knowing when enough is enough. So that we kind of have the same one as far as that one. But yeah, definitely do what you can, and that's it. Like, there's so much power in that.
It is.
You don't have to go any further than that. Like, don't overexert, and don't start depleting yourself, thinking that it's chivalrous to do this. It's not. Like,
no, and it's okay. You have to vocalize it sometimes. I hope Shawana doesn't mind me sharing this.
No, share.
But we had to have a conversation like that in our friendship. Like, I had to tell Shawana, I love you 2 pieces.
Well, bitch.
I cannot tread these waters with you. I can't. Like, I will be, you know, that I am here. Like, you know. But I can't ride this wave. I just cannot. And I think what people have to understand is, it's a 2-way street. The reason I made it my business to communicate that is because people don't understand. Shawana mentioned this earlier. When you distance or you isolate, no response or vague response is a response.
It is.
So all I had in my mind is, I can't let her come up with her own scenario of why I haven't said something about this, or why she probably feel like I'm distant. So to eliminate that, I was like, I'm going to just have to tell her. We're just going to have a conversation. On the flip side of that, because people get offended when it's not about them, Shawana was mature enough to understand, listen, I get it, I hear you, and this is something I'm going to have to tread by myself. So I think people create scenarios in their head on both sides, but here's where communication comes in, because I knew that if I did not say these words to her, that could have caused a conflict within our friendship, which is what I did not want.
And I had a dream about it.
Really?
Remember I told you? And so in the dream, this was right before we had the conversation, Brittany was basically saying, yeah, and I felt like we needed to something along the lines of, because it was going to ruin the friendship. That's all I remember. You was like, it's going to ruin the friendship. Crazy. And then we had that conversation like maybe 4 days later. So it when somebody, but that's how you know it's a true connection, because I already knew it was too much for me. So I knew damn well. And if when you're divinely connected to people too, yeah, it might sting that people can't be there for you, but they understand. It's like they get it. Like, no, I know I'm wilding. Like, I know that this is because of how stressful it is for me. I know how it is for you, and thank you. because her not involving herself in it with me helped me to take myself out of it.
And not only that, I also felt like if I inserted myself too much, that was going to be a problem. So I literally feel like everything we have talked about on this episode, we literally have experienced individually and together. Because just like we said earlier, sometimes not having boundaries and wanting to fix and be there, we be fucking up stuff more than what we think. So all I had in my head is, if I project what I think Shawana should do, what I think she should say in these situations, that's going to cause a problem between us that we don't even have to have.
Exactly.
If I just say, look, if you however you want to handle that, I'm going to support you. But I'm going to let you handle it by yourself.
Right. You got to figure that out.
I completely removed myself because the fixer in me had a list of 500 things. I was like, you know what? If Shawana do this, this, and this, and this, and this, like, I feel like we're going to be good. But that was not my life, and that was not my situation. And I feel like somebody need to hear that.
Yes.
You cannot always fix everything for everybody else. Like, it is okay. Trust people to get through shit sometimes by themselves. I promise you, people will surprise you. Like, just let them be. Like, they literally sometimes have to figure it out by themselves.
And I feel like removing your presence is one of the most powerful things you can do for people that you love. I know that sounds crazy, but I tell my roommate that all the time, because some people feel like if you take your presence away, that it's a negative connotation. But when you leave people with just themselves, they don't have anybody else to compare themselves to. They don't have you to bring some type of comfort or cushion. They don't have you to even project on. When you leave people alone with themselves, they have to face themselves. And then that is when that individual person can either make the decision to move on, to grow, to heal, to be better, or they can stay where they are. But that doesn't happen a lot unless you remove your presence, especially when you're the fixer friend, especially when you're your mama, you're the one everybody come to. When you remove that, people figure it out on their own, and then they come back to you later and be like, yo, let me tell you how this and this and this happened. And it's like, okay, so I did right by removing my presence. Just one of the best things that as a fixer, has had to do is to just remove my presence from people when it's time.
And I wish we were taught that earlier in life, because I feel the same way. I feel like I was taught the opposite.
Me too.
But I feel like one of the greatest things I have done for people was to say, you know what, you got it. Like, you got it. It was something you said I was gonna say something about.
You did the same thing earlier.
I know. Oh my god. It was something you said. I was
like,
oh my god. Yes, like that. Oh, one thing I have also appreciated about removing myself, there is no fault to fall back on me. And I'm pretty sure anybody who is a fixer or anything, some way, somehow, sometimes that shit gets flipped back on you.
It do.
Well, I did what you said, and I said to them what you told me to say,
and they left me. Cause I had that friend.
We started busting, or shit is more messed up now because you told me to do this, or I felt like you was pressuring me, or I knew that was gonna make you mad, so I just da-da-da-da-da. Bruh.
You know what I used to say after every time? Because I had one particular friend that would try to force me to give them advice, just to later be like, well, I did what you said. I'd be like, but you know you better than me, so you do what you feel like is best. This is what I'm resonating with. Please don't take it as law. I say this in my readings when I do my readings. Hey man, this is not law. If it don't fit, don't make it fit where it don't apply. So I would say quick, you know you better than me, but you shouldn't even have to say that, because no. So yes, I'm sorry, but yeah, I had that friend.
And it's so frustrating because then you're sitting there trying to figure out how the fuck did me helping or listening turn into now this shit is my fault.
They asked me.
You asked me. You came to me. That's not even my situation. How's this shit my fault?
It's your fault.
Yeah. So now I appreciate the fact that now I don't have responsibility in people's situations, because yeah, somehow this shit becomes it's on you now because you spoke up or you wanted to help. No, that shit is dead.
Take yourself off that pedestal.
Yeah.
Take yourself off the pedestal, because people put you there, and when the pedestal they had you on, when something happens that ain't how they wanted it, then you the worst person in the world. Don't let nobody put you on the pedestal. That is also a form of empowerment. Don't let nobody put you somewhere. You place yourself where you want to be.
Absolutely.
And it's up to, if people don't resonate, they don't resonate. Period.
I think we can end the episode
I have nothing
there.
left.
I think we can end it there.
I have
Okay.
nothing left. We want to just welcome you guys. This is the beginning of season 2. I'm excited for season 2 and all the guests that we have that will be up here, all the different business ventures that we're going on, and this ideas that are coming. Like, I'm just excited. There are endless opportunities, and we hope that you guys stick along for our journey because this is just the beginning.
Yeah, what Shawana said. Just, take this ride with us, and I'm just excited to see what comes. I'm excited to have these different perspectives on the podcast for this season.
Yes.
So, yes, y'all follow us on Instagram at Brown Skin Blueprint. Subscribe to our YouTube. Subscribe to our podcast, if nothing else.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, we're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts,
Spreaker. Yes.
Are we on SoundCloud? No.
I don't know.
I don't think we're on
I don't think we're on
SoundCloud.
SoundCloud.
But yes. So yes, just any of those platforms. Spotify is versatile for both
Yes,
Android
it
and
is.
iPhone. So I always promote Spotify first. But we're on if you have Apple Podcasts, and if you have a Android phone, Google.
And leave us a rating and a review while you at it.
Please and thank you.
Yeah.
So we will see you guys next episode.